Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Tigers, 31-17, Matt, on the season. They've got the best pitching in baseball, but don't look now. The Twins are now on their heels at 26-21.
The best hitters can't stay healthy. We obviously saw a situation last week where two of those guys got hurt on the same play. So that's the Twins, and I think Twins fans, I'm up in Twins country. Twins fans know that up here, and you're kind of always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
NewsWire. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series where they rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on Sport.
Good morning. Welcome to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. We are back in the saddle here for a full week of shows. And folks, boy, do we have a lot to cover on today's program. In fact, we're going to get to the very latest in the National Basketball Association. Looks like one series could be coming to a close. Another one seems to be rolling on. Also, you could say the same thing about the National Hockey League. Couple surprises in sports yesterday. We'll get to the very latest in the NBA with Gilbert McGregor of Sporting News. Adam Caplan, our SportsGrid NFL insider, joins us here on the show. And Mark Zinno will weigh in on today's Major League Baseball slate. But let's get started with the NBA game from yesterday. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, folks, they are one step away now from getting to the NBA Finals. They beat the Timberwolves by a bucket, 128-126. They take a 3-1 lead in the series. Back and forth they went all game long. But the difference, as he has been all season long for Oklahoma City, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, not a pretty shooting line. But as has been the story for SGA all season, he gets his points at the free throw line. 13 of 30 from the field, 40 points, but knocked down 12 of 14 free throws. The fans in Minneapolis seem to take exception with all of the free throws. That only motivates Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I know you don't necessarily put a lot of stock into the chance, but what do you think of the free throw merchant? Whatever you want to call it, label, accusation.
Like the way I see it is like the fans, they're going to do whatever they can do to help their team win and knock me off my game, being the head of the snake of our team. Like, and that's their job. That's what creates home court advantage. That's what creates a fan base. That's what creates energy in the building. And they want the Timberwolves to win. They don't want the Oklahoma City Thunder to win. So I expect nothing else. And in terms of the label, I don't care. I never cared. I said this before, like, I've shot more free throws in a season than I did this season. Like, I think because we're on the top of everyone's radar, it's a little bit more noticeable, and now people care about it. But I kind of see it as a compliment.
Meanwhile, on the side of the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're going to have to win Game 5 in Oklahoma City. Not an easy task. Reminiscing on what could have been in this game, very close throughout, Chris Finch talked about the difference in winning and losing.
Chris, you mentioned pregame about the decision-making when you guys are making quick decisions, those turnovers go down. How much of that did you see in terms of?
Yeah, I didn't think we started the game with that, kind of mindset and mentality and imposing ourselves offensively. We turned it over 7 times in the first quarter, and a lot of those were just, trying to play in traffic, taking on matchups that invited more, attention and more of a crowd, and not kind of really going anywhere.
So much of your guys' play up front to this point was big nights from you and Randall, and just how did it kind of hit you for the fact that you guys both struggled at the same time tonight?
Yeah. I don't look at it like I struggled or he struggled. They had a good game plan, making us get off the ball. Especially for me, man, it was super in the gaps. I made the right play all night, so I don't really look at it like I struggled. I didn't get enough shots to say I struggled, so that might be how you guys look at it. But yeah, I didn't struggle at all. I made the right play.
Back to Oklahoma City they go tomorrow night. All right, now in the Eastern Conference, try to make heads or tails of what the New York Knicks are doing these days is impossible to do. They dropped the first 2 games in Madison Square Garden, and then in Game 3 they go to Indiana and win. The game was Sunday night. The Knicks beat the Pacers Saturday night, 106-100. As now Indiana leads the series 2-1. The Pacers went up 20 points in the second quarter, but the Knicks, as they have done many times, come back and win. Again, third 20-point comeback of this playoffs. If they could only win their home games, they'd have a shot of winning the NBA championship. Meanwhile, Karl-Anthony Towns, who they coached Tibbs for not playing him enough in the games in New York, well, he definitely played in this one. He had 20 of his 24 points in the fourth quarter. And Tom Thibodeau, after the game on Saturday, talked about just how well they played from beginning to end.
Hard-fought game. I thought we got off to a good start. Then we got into foul trouble. And then we finished the half pretty good. And then we were at our best in the fourth.
The game was Saturday.
A lot of guys stepped up. I thought Cat's presence, Josh all-around play, doing what Josh does, everything. I thought Deuce gave us good minutes when Jalen was in foul trouble. OG was terrific throughout. Mitch gave us good minutes. And then Landry and DeLon did a really good job as well.
I'm just happy our team was able to get one in the left column to get a win tonight is big for our team and in the series as well. Looking at a 2-0 deficit, possibly a 3-0 deficit. It was just important for us to find a way to win, and as a team, we found a way to do that tonight.
Yeah, it says a lot. The professionalism they have, and do whatever it takes to win. And we have a close-knit locker room, and just the way that the guys prepared and were ready to go tonight, and not being discouraged with our deficit and continue to fight back speaks volumes for what those guys did tonight.
I think, meanwhile, the big question for the Indiana Pacers being 2-point favorites tonight, can they rebound after a really tough loss? Because if not, all of a sudden, this series is tied up at 2 apiece. Here's head coach Rick Carlisle on what went wrong.
Poor job of closing the third quarter and not a good enough start to the fourth quarter. Turned it into, a real back and forth game, and they executed down the stretch, and we did not execute well enough. So credit them for fighting hard, hanging in. We got a pretty good lead in the third quarter, but didn't do a good enough job of attacking, but also avoiding miscues.
We had some missed shots, 5 for 25 from 3. That's not ideal. I thought I got to watch film to really see our offensive processes, what they really were. Felt like we got kind of stagnant on that end, but we'll see where we can get better, watch film, and be ready to go for Game 4.
All right, let's get over to the PGA Tour. The Charles Schwab was this weekend, a life-changing event for Ben Griffin, who ends up winning on the PGA Tour, picks up almost $2 million. Speaking of life-changing, here's Griffin talking about how well he played at the Classic.
Yeah, incredible week. My golf game felt great all week long. Was very confident out there. Put in a lot of hard work, really all of this year leading up to, you could say this, but arguably, the last month and a half or so, I've been really proud of not only putting in the hard work, but seeing some results. It's not often as golfers out here on tour, you get the chance to win and do win. And so was very, very fortunate to have a great partner in Andrew Novak a few weeks ago at the Zurich Classic, get a win with him. Incredible experience. And, yeah, it's nice to, I don't want to say silence the haters, but there's definitely some hate comments I got last night, and I used that as fuel today to get an individual win.
Now let's get over to the National Hockey League, and the Florida Panthers, all dressed in black for a funeral, up 3-0 on the Carolina Hurricanes. At home, did not get the job done. So Carolina's season continues, as the final score last night was 3-0. Hurricanes beat the Panthers. Florida's still up 3-1 in the series. Of course, remember what happened last year in the Stanley Cup Finals. We won't talk about that. Meanwhile, they'll go back to Carolina for Game 5. Also, Sunday night, the Edmonton Oilers beat the Dallas Stars 6-1. They have a 2-1 series lead and are 2 games away from returning to the finals. Connor McDavid was fantastic. He had 2 goals in this one. And also, Stuart Skinner has been fantastic. He notched his 3rd shutout of this postseason. He was fantastic. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on NewsWire. When we come back next, our buddy Gilbert McGregor from Sporting News is going to join us here on the show, tell us whether or not the Western Conference Finals is over, and for that matter, can the Knicks pull off another upset in Indiana? We'll weigh in on both subjects next here on News. We'll be right back after these messages, so make sure you stay on the grid.
Vegas knows how to celebrate. If you're headed to Vegas for your birthday, plan ahead to get all the birthday freebies the city has to offer. Just by showing your ID, you could get free cash play, scratch cards, drinks, and food at various venues on the Strip. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. Fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to NewsWire here on Sports Grid. Let's bring in Gilbert McGregor from Sporting News, who, like me and like anybody in media these days, with, of course, football season still a few months away, we're rooting for more basketball as much as we can get, but I think we may have seen the last of the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. Let's check in with Gilbert McGregor, see how he feels about that. Gilbert, hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for making time for us here on the show today. All right, so I'll ask you. Last night, look, could have went either way, and good. Look, the Timberwolves should have nothing to be upset about if they end up losing this series. I think they're going to be around for a long time. But the truth is that Oklahoma City is the better team, and I think it was a matter of when, not if, they would win this series. So I'll pose it to you. After winning last night, is it over? Is the next game, you think, the end, and Oklahoma City heads to the finals?
this one's over. Oklahoma City is going to get the job done when the series goes back home. And it's earned for them and those fans. They won 68 games this year. And I think that the fact that they were tested the way that they were by the Nuggets in the second round taught this team a lot about themselves. We know it's one of the youngest teams in the NBA, younger than some college teams by some metrics. And they learned a lot, and they grew up in the conference semifinals, and I think that's prepared them for the stage they're at right now. They've taken care of business. They probably lose that game last night earlier in these playoffs, but they figured something out. They know how to win, and I think that they're going to take care of business when business is ready to be handled in Game 5.
All right, that's fair. Let's get to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I had a feeling this was going to be a big story, and it's going to be a bigger one in the NBA Finals. It's a very strange dynamic, Gilbert. I don't know how to equate it to other sports, where it almost seems like everyone outside of Oklahoma City, which is ridiculous, thinks that SGA is getting too many foul calls, and then he goes to the free throw line too much, and his game is built around that. I mean, I don't agree with that at all. And by the way, whatever is within the rules of the game, shouldn't you expose that? That's what SGA does. So he made 12 free throws. He couldn't shoot last night at all, 13 of 30. I remember, Gilbert, there was this other player in the NBA named, I think his name was Kobe Bryant, that used to do this sort of stuff every now and then. I mean, I don't get it. And by the way, the game was a lot more difficult when Kobe played than when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played, because yet he's playing like they did back 15, 20 years ago.
Absolutely. He's definitely somebody who you can tell patterns his game after a lot of the things that Kobe Bryant did. And part of that is getting to the free throw line. You can also tell that he's a guy who spent the second year of his career as an understudy somewhat of Chris Paul, because he learned some of those tricks as well. And honestly, it's a skill to be able to get to the free throw line. It might be a skill that annoys some fans, but the objective of the game is to score more points than the other team. And if you understand how to play within the game and draw fouls and whatever it is, the trick, slowing your body down, kind of angling your body a certain way to where the defender runs into you, it's just as difficult to figure out how to do that within the bounds of the game as it is to kind of keep from fouling those guys as well. So I understand the frustration. I personally would hate having to guard him as a former player, but I also have a little bit of respect for the fact that there's a skill to get to the line. You know, when your team needs you to score on a game where you're 13 of 30, to still find a way to get to 40 points in that game in a must-win game, to bring your team one win away from the NBA Finals for the first time since 2012. I think that's big for him and the Thunder.
Yeah, would agree. Okay, so I definitely still think Indiana is going to win in the Eastern Conference here. But the one thing in sports, Gilbert, as long as I've been doing this, and you know too, you never want to create doubt if you're an NBA team. Like, you want to go up 3-0, Gilbert, if you're Indiana, and then if you drop Game 4 and even Game 5, you win Game 6, it's fine. But this is not, I don't think this is a good thing for the Pacers here. I'm a little concerned here because last night, or excuse me, on Sunday night, they, I think, had an opportunity to put this thing away. We've seen teams go up 3-0, most sweep, eventually they win. Now, all of a sudden, the Pacers have to be thinking, wait a second here. Like, is it possible that we could actually lose both home games when I think that we thought that wouldn't be the case? So I suppose I would ask you, with Karl Anthony Towns playing the way that he did in that fourth quarter, which seemed to be the difference in the game, which was missing from the games in New York, is that the difference why the Knicks won this game, and can it be the difference tonight?
Definitely the difference. I think back to that moment where Indiana went up 20 points, and it really did feel like, oh man, this might be a sweep. And I remember asking who I was watching the game with, do we need to bring the brooms out? But the Knicks figured something out. And I think not just the fact that they were able to win that game on the road, but the way they won that game. The 20-point comeback, which has kind of become their patented staple this year, the third time they've done it in the last two rounds, they can feel some confidence and say, okay, we can hang around. And this is a team that we had a big lead on earlier in the series as well. So a lot of these games could swing either way. And we saw this in that Detroit series as well in the first round with the Knicks, where they looked outmatched a little bit, but continued to find ways to win and then finding ways to win on the road. Very good road team the Knicks have been during these playoffs. So definitely don't count them out, especially because the Pacers left the door open and they might regret the fact that they didn't take care of business or get the job done, finish the job off in Game 3.
All right, so this is the hardest call you'll make on the show, Gilbert, in a while, I think, tonight. I mean, pretty much Game 7s, we had a feeling which way they were going to go. I got to tell you, this one, I don't know. Odds makers are telling us it's the Knicks. I mean, the Pacers are 2-point favorites, total of 220.5. I mean, how do they only make Indiana 2-point favorites at home, Gilbert, up in the series in this game? What am I missing?
I think they're buying into momentum. Momentum is real, and we talked about it after that game one when the Pacers had. How did the Knicks bounce back from that? Well, it's going to be difficult for the Pacers to bounce back from what happened in game three. Jalen Brunson could have played much better in game three as well. So to think that he didn't have his best game, I expect him to bounce back, especially from a scoring standpoint. Cat might have figured something out. Tom Thibodeau might have figured something out with that starting lineup change, even though it took some time for that change to kind of really make its impact. So thinking about all of those things that are at play right here, it's a chess match between these two head coaches and the momentum that the Knicks have. And honestly, the stagnance with which the Pacers played in the second half of that game as well. Does that carry over? Are there any residual effects? And I think the line is reflective of the fact that there's probably going to be some residual effects, especially because that game was so recent. It was 48 hours ago.
All right, so both of us thought Indiana would win the series, but right now their odds have shot down from about 500 to 200 here, minus 220 to win the series. Are you going to jump off this, Gilbert, or do you think that in the end, those two games that Indiana won in New York, I think the Knicks definitely can jump right back into the series, but man, it's just hard for me to see Indiana blowing this whole thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll stick with them for now. I think their depth, especially in a series, if it goes longer, will be an advantage for them.
Gilbert, enjoy the game tonight. We'll catch up again later in the week. Thanks again.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right, coming up next, our SportsGrid NFL insider Adam Caplan joins us here on the show for the latest in the NFL. Don't go away.
Vegas knows how to celebrate. If you're headed to Vegas for your birthday, plan ahead to get all the birthday freebies the city has to offer. Just by showing your ID, you could get free cash play, scratch cards, drinks, and food at various venues on the Strip. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm going to put it on Vinny. I'm going to put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. Fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. Our SportsGrid insider Adam Caplan is with us, joins us once a week in the off-season. And folks, we are halfway done. The NFL season is right around the corner. July, camps start opening up. It feels like we got a month until things really get hot. Let's bring in Adam Caplan for the one story that is easily the most annoying in the NFL, but it is the one story that hasn't been resolved in the NFL. And I promise, folks, we will not do the story again next week. If there is no update, we will not do Aaron Rodgers. I do want to ask about a couple of quarterbacks with you here, sure. Adam. But first, let's get to this. Okay, so let me give credit where credit is due. YNK Podcast is where Aaron Rodgers appeared. It was like an outdoor format of some kind. Was asked a lot of questions, was very non-committal on anything, but gave a major hint, I thought, in this by saying that he was not going to play for Chicago, but said that there's a team out there that has Chicago on their schedule. I mean, come on, Adam. I mean, he's going to play for the Steelers, right? I mean, wasn't that the dead giveaway at this point?
Yeah, Craig, here's the real story. So the reason why the Steelers keep saying they're going to wait for him is because they know he needs more time because he's dealing with a personal issue with someone close to him, which he said. He's been on the record saying that, but he's not going into it, and we understand that. You got to respect his privacy. But he sounds like he wants to play, and that's the impression that they have, is that he wants to play. And I could tell you, if I'm looking into the situation for months and weeks and recent weeks and talking to Steelers people, they're pretty confident he's going to play. Now, I would warn people, though, if he shocks them, or surprises them is probably a better word, if he surprises them, well, what's their recourse? What can they do here? Well, you got Mason Rudolph, right? Who's a journeyman quarterback who did play very well, as they will point out, as they pointed out to me a couple years ago, but that was on a part-time basis. And then they would have to look into the veteran market, and they would do that. They would look potentially towards Kirk Cousins and any potential veteran who would be available. But Mason Rudolph is a guy that they like. They drafted him. He's played in different systems. He knows what they're doing here. They know they're going to be a run-based offense. They're not going to put all in the quarterback, not even close to being all in the quarterback. You know, it's about running the ball in Pittsburgh and playing defense. But you got to throw it at some point. And asking Mason Rudolph, Craig, to be a full-time starter, 17 games plus playoffs, good luck.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to be the case. I want to expand this conversation to ask you just something sort of, off the beaten path here, because I just watched the Brett Favre documentary, which it outside of the off the field stuff, it feels like Favre and Rodgers are kind of like doing the same thing, ironically, at the end of their careers here, which is being a little bit nomadic. Are you a believer, Adam, in this whole idea that we bring up in legacy, like what players' legacy becomes if at the end of their career they're mixing it up and going around different places? I know there are a lot of social media accounts that show, different players in uniforms you never remember playing with. I mean, personally, for me, Adam, I think that we talk about it way too much. I really don't think that this is a thing. Like, yes, I remember that Emmitt Smith played with Arizona, but I don't think that affected him or hurt him, or Jerry Rice playing with Seattle or Denver or one of those teams at the end. Does it really?
No, as a matter of fact, sometimes it's the reverse, where a player needs to find another home to revive his career and potentially be a Hall of Famer, like Kurt Warner. We all thought he was done. Those of us who were coming to the league then with the Giants, and I would not have put him in the Hall of Fame then. To be honest with you, I do vote for the Pro Football Writers Association, but the Hall of Fame voters, if I had one, I would not have voted for Kurt Warner until he went to Arizona, and he was phenomenal. And that's when you never know. But yeah, like, for instance, I'm old enough to remember Willie Mays when he ended his career with the Mets. I mean, it was fumbling around, falling to his knees. He couldn't move anymore, but I knew he was a great player. You're right. I wasn't going to let it cloud my judgment as a fan or legacy. It's what you've done for the totality of your career, for the majority of it, quite frankly. And then you go from there. So you make a fair point. We obviously know Aaron Rodgers is the first ballot Hall of Famer. Look, he made a decision. He could have retired like John Elway, right? John Elway retired after his last Super Bowl in his late 30s, because of his knees weren't good. That's why he retired. If Rodgers thinks he's healthy enough, now I'm told he had 2 pretty significant injuries, which he played through, hamstring strain and a sprained knee last season. I give the guy credit. But Craig, father time catches up to all of us. We know that when you're an athlete, man. Sold in tennis with my favorite tennis player ever, Roger Federer. His knees were bad. Rafa with his foot. I mean, this is what happens. You can't play forever. Rodgers at 41 and a half. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, Peyton Manning had a fantastic second half career, and then it crashed and ended. And maybe that's the case for Aaron Rodgers, but it does feel like he's going to give this one more season. Adam, great stuff. I know we only focused on one topic here. We'll do better next week. Thanks again for coming on. Appreciate it.
All good, man. All good.
All right, coming up next, Mark Zinno weighs in on some of the afternoon and evening baseball. Don't go away.
Vegas knows how to celebrate. If you're headed to Vegas for your birthday, plan ahead to get all the birthday freebies the city has to offer. Just by showing your ID, you could get free cash play, scratch cards, drinks, and food at various venues on the Strip. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm going to put it on Vinny. I'm going to put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. Fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word. Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. Mark Zinno is done cooking out for Memorial Day weekend. I know, of course, he celebrates that in a big way with the military and everything else. So joins us now. And Mark, again, salute to you. And certainly I know Memorial Day special for you. And thanks for coming on the show to dive into some baseball.
Thank you. Great to be here with you, and I appreciate the well wishes. So let's get to it.
All right, so let's get started here and talk about the Memorial Day outcomes. And then we'll get to the hottest team in baseball this season. Of course, it is the Tigers, who are now 15 games over. They beat the Giants 3-1. Their pitching is the best in Major League Baseball, and thus far that has carried them. The Brewers beat the Red Sox 3-2. Dodgers win 7-2. Ohtani now leads again in home runs, 19, which is like yawn at this point. It's crazy how good that guy is. And hey, look, maybe the Orioles aren't completely dead. I kind of think they are, unfortunately, how buried they are, but they do win 3 games in a row, and they beat the Cardinals 5-2. Okay, so let's start off with Detroit. They definitely have the pitching, but it still is May, Mark. I am confident that the Tigers, if they're in it, are going to make some really big moves to stay in it. I do think they have that going for them. And look, you can only play who's in front of you. They have 35 wins already this season. They play 500 the rest of the way. They're getting in.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have been every bit as good as you'd expect them to be. Their pitching obviously has paced them, but this is a team, strangely enough, that scores a lot of runs on the road, and that's what good teams do, right? We expect teams to be better at home. We expect their numbers to go up at home, but this is a Tigers team this year that has really made their bones away from their home ballpark, and it's really what separated them from the rest of the field in that department. So they're a pretty complete team all around. They're not exactly like a team that is going to really mash the baseball, but they scored the second most runs behind the Cubs on the road this year, and that's ultimately the difference. But again, it must be a pitcher's ballpark at Comerica because they've hit the 5th most home runs on the road this year. That's not the case for them at home.
Yeah, definitely not. And it definitely appears to be the case. And Tariq Skubal is about as big as a Cy Young favorite as you're going to see on Memorial Day ever, Mark, plus 100. Yeah. So, look, I can't ever lay that, given the fact that we're so early on in the season. But I would tell you that there's a lot of other good names of players having great seasons. Fried is 4-1, Crochet 7-1, Hunter Brown's been as good as advertised. Eovaldi's a boring pick, 12-1, but he's been fantastic. And don't look now, but Jacob deGrom is back in a big way. By the way, it looks like a different pitcher than what he has been the last few years, but still very effective.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of this for Tariq Skubal and Max Fried is going to boil down to who has the better record, whose team is in first place, who clinches the #1 seed in the American League. Like, voters are idiots. I'm sorry if you have a major league, if you're a baseball writer, that has nothing to do with anything. Doesn't matter where his team finishes. Tariq Skubal by far has been the best pitcher in Major League Baseball this year to this point, so I understand why he is. I don't think anything's going to change that, but some outside sort of context may affect the way people vote for him. I don't think that's correct, but that's what may happen. So I wouldn't count out Fried yet. I don't think Crochet really has a shot. Evaldi could be very interesting because he's going to end up with highly dominant numbers when it's all said and done, the way he's pitching. Max Fried's a beneficiary of some of his run support in baseball. It's not the case for Nathan Evaldi. Texas is one of the lowest scoring teams in all of baseball, and the fact that he's continuing to rack up wins and continuing to put his team in position to win games is really, really impressive given that offense. So that context may favor Evaldi than anybody else.
Fair enough. All right, so tonight's game is as good a pitching matchup as you're going to get in baseball. I mean, Jack Flaherty, is as capable as any starting pitcher. He may not be the ace, but he's right there. And then the ace of the Giants is going tonight in Logan Webb, so they made them a coin flip favorite, basically, -115 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Total of 7 in this one. So as you said, the Tigers generally not scoring at home. Giants have definitely taken a step back since we thought they're going to win 100 games or something. That's not going to happen. Any lean on tonight's game at all?
Believe it or not, I'd probably take the over. As crazy as that sounds, look, Flaherty is maybe the weak link in this Detroit pitching staff. He's not good. I mean, I know he was for a hot minute, but he's not been good. And this is not a guy that I want to trust. A guy who gives up a lot of exit velocity on his hits. He's given up 11 home runs this year. He can be hit pretty hard, all things considered. His hard hit rate is at 40%. That's not a good number at all. Comparatively speaking, last year it was at 35%. So it's taken a huge jump in just one season. I know he's got a good K rate and a swing and miss rate, but when the guys do hit it, they hit it hard and they hit it far. And this is a San Francisco lineup that obviously, again, plays in a pitcher's ballpark in San Francisco, but they can score some runs on the road here. And, I think when it comes down to it, Logan Webb has the second best FIP in all of baseball behind Tariq Skubal. I would lean Giants here. I'd lean the over. I think you're going to get some runs out of this whole thing. And Flaherty, although his numbers have been better at home than they've been on the road, again, you're still talking about a guy who's given up 11 home runs this year in 10 starts. That's not a recipe for success.
Now let's move over, Mark, to the National League East, where it appears to still be a 3-team race, although getting back Ronald Acuna Jr. this weekend, as hot as anybody in baseball, and his first weekend back on Memorial Day weekend, and the Braves still look up, and they're 2 games under 500. Their offense is just, even with Acuna, not good enough. But the Phillies have been fantastic. They move ahead of the Mets, albeit slightly. Then you have the Braves there at plus 550. I still think there's a run coming for them, but it hasn't happened yet. Don't look now. Washington's playing much better. And then my Marlins, of course, are going through it a little bit this year. That's okay. They're 10 games under. So how do you see this playing out? I mean, I can't rule out Atlanta, but, Mark, I guess I would ask you, too, is Washington, in this at all, or, just playing for 500?
They're scrappy. They're playing for 500. They may end up somehow in the 7th chase for the last wild card spot. When you first start paying attention to that and you turn the calendar into mid-August into early September, and it'll be the Nationals hanging around 4 or 5 games out, but they still got to leapfrog, 3 or 4 of the teams just to get there, which will be their biggest bugaboo trying to get there. I'll say this much. Again, people are trying to underscore the Braves 0-7 start as something that isn't a thing. I'll remind everybody that every team that has started 0-7, only 2 of them ever finished above 500, and none of them made the postseason. So there's a reason why it's hard to recover from that. Can't win the World Series in April, but you can certainly lose it if you dig yourself a big enough hole. And that's what the Braves have done. They're going to need a little bit more of a complete team. Spencer Strider, who has been bad in his 2 starts this year, making his 2nd start off the IL. If you'd like some, framework here with the Phillies being a favorite tonight, in case you've been wondering, Spencer Strider is 8-0 with a 2.06 ERA and 80 strikeouts in 52 in the third innings against the Phillies in his career. To say he owns Philadelphia might be an understatement. If you were looking for a chance to back Spencer Strider and the Braves, tonight's the night to do it.
Yeah, maybe first 5 there. I mean, Strider hasn't gone deep in
because
the
I don't know that
games,
he right, and that's the other point. It's a smart way to play it. It's just a
Yeah,
question
yeah.
of whether the problem is that you're dealing with the Phillies and Ranger Suarez and the Braves bats
Yeah.
trying to get to him.
Yeah,
First
look,
500
I mean,
smells wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Strider too is that, as you said, like if he just is who he was, he's fine. He just not looked like he was. That's for sure. All right, Mark, thanks again for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the baseball games today, basketball, everything else you're following. We'll catch up again soon. Thanks for making the time for us.
Yeah.
Mark Zinno joining us on SportsGrid. You want to download the SportsGrid app? It's available right now for iOS and Android. Just take out your phone, and we're going to show you a QR code that you can scan and just download it right now. It's available for both iOS and Android. Streaming free 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our programming, including Scott Farrell Coast to Coast, which is coming up today at 3 o'clock Eastern following the Memorial Day holiday. Up next, Coach James Young joins us. We'll preview tonight's game between the Knicks and Pacers. You're watching NewsWire on SportsGrid. We'll be right back.
Vegas knows how to celebrate. If you're headed to Vegas for your birthday, plan ahead to get all the birthday freebies the city has to offer. Just by showing your ID, you could get free cash play, scratch cards, drinks, and food at various venues on the Strip. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm going to put it on Vinny. I'm going to put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. Fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. Craig Mish back with you, joined by Coach James Young, who is definitely ready to break down this game tonight in the National Basketball Association. But if he can pick the winner of this one, I'll be impressed because I have no clue. Knicks and Pacers going to play again. Road team Coach Young wins the first 2 games in Madison Square Garden. Knicks go Indiana, and they win game 3. Bench comes through. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have good vibes at predicting this sort of stuff. I don't know, man. Once this happens in the NBA, Coach, you've been watching this as long as me. I throw my hands up in the air and just hope for a long series.
Yeah, Craig, great to be on with you. And not only do we have the road team winning every game in the series so far, we have the Knicks blowing a 14-point lead with 2.5 minutes to go. And then you have an Indiana team blowing a 20-point lead in the third quarter. So we really don't know what we're going to get out of either team. Honestly, if you're looking at one thing to look at here is, there's been a lot of talk, Craig, out of Indiana over the last 24 hours that they let their foot off the gas. They played too slow. It definitely became a half-court game. Now, you got to credit, Tibbs with going with guys like DeLon Wright, Deuce McBride, Larry Shamet, kind of prioritized defense, starting Mitchell Robinson, right? But that bench play right there was absolutely fantastic. And now, of course, you got the demon Josh Hart, who got 2 of the biggest rebounds of the game at the end of the game. But if I'm looking at something, and I think Indiana's going to try and play faster, I think the Knicks are going to be better offensively. Their team total is 109.5. Now, they got to 106. Brunson, 4 fouls in the first half. Cat, 3 fouls in the first half. Both of them in major foul trouble. Cat doesn't go off until, the fourth quarter, getting 20 out of 24. They're going to be better offensively, but I also think Indiana's going to make them run and get them up and down the floor. Best bet, probably Knicks team total over 109.5. As for the game, I got no daggone idea who wins or how or what. Because every time you think you can predict this series, it goes absolutely haywire. Do I think the Knicks probably win? Yes, but I'm not super certain because of the fact that the Knicks are, I think they're 5-1 on the road in the playoffs. And then I think the Pacers really have, I think, the second best record on the road in the playoffs. So that's why we're seeing the road teams win, because these teams are more comfortable sometimes outside their own building.
Yeah, it's a good breakdown, Coach, because I got to tell you, in watching the other shows at SportsGrid, I am going to hold anybody accountable who says they know who's going to win this game for the rest of the night here. I mean, come on. I mean, please. I mean, we've reached the pinnacle of cluelessness in the NBA this season tonight. I mean, come on, Coach. I mean, in the NBA, it's impossible to predict anyway. I get it. It's sports. I mean, and we're trying to just get an edge, 50-something%. But, Coach, teams generally don't go on the road, win 2, and then lose 2, and it's very possible tonight.
It's very possible, and I think, like I said, these teams are comfortable on the road. This series was going 7 no matter what. We just didn't know how we were going to probably get here. The other series, OKC and Minnesota, I thought that was going 5, and I pretty much said it 2-0. Yeah, probably Minnesota wins game 3, close game 4. They're going to get rolled in game 5. That series is over. But what's great about the Knicks series is there's history, right? There's nostalgia. So people like myself that are in their late 40s, I remember seeing as a Knicks fan, Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, former New York guy, Dale Davis, Rick Smith, Antonio Davis, Derek McKee. But then you got like the younger kids. I got like the Roy Hibbert, Paul George years. And then you got the young kids. You got the Halliburton, Naismith, Nembhard. So for this rivalry that's been going on for 30 years, it's been pretty cool to see it relive. I just hope my Knicks find a way to win the series.
Yeah, and again, it could happen. I still think Indiana takes it, but again, we'll see what happens tonight. Okay, so Oklahoma City, as you mentioned, this is now just when it's going to end here. And if Jalen Williams has 30 points in an NBA game, again, like the Oklahoma City is going to win every single one of those games that he does this. So SGA had 40 points. Jalen Williams had 34. I got nothing bad to say about the Timberwolves, Coach. They've had a great year. They're going to be good again next year. They could be right back in this spot with a little bit of tinkering. The one thing that I was talking with Gilbert McGregor, my guest from Sporting News, about, Coach, is that I just hate this free throw narrative with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, the rules are the rules. And if you're able to do whatever it is to get points, I don't know why this is an issue and how fans can jeer this guy because he gets fouled. Like, I mean, for the life of me, I don't get it.
Greg, don't foul him. I mean, simply put, don't foul. Listen, SGA does it. We here in New York, Brunson does it. Let's go deeper. Kobe did it. LeBron did it. I mean, you see pictures of LeBron going down and being hurt and then like looking out, like saying oh, did they see it? I mean, Kobe did it. Jordan did it. Isaiah Thomas did it. All these great players, particularly guards, try to find ways to bait officials in the calls. At the end of the day, you as a player have to adjust. First 2, 3, 4 minutes, you'll know how the game is called. Very rarely does it change. This guy likes to get to the free throw line. Keep him off the free throw line. Keep your hands off of him. Know he's going to jump into him. When he gets ready to get to his jump shot, take a step back. Give him a little bit more room on that shot because you know that he's going to bait you, just like tonight. Jalen Brunson, who did not score well again in the game versus Indiana, but got to the free throw line 10 times, is going to do the same thing tonight.
Yeah, and Dwayne Wade is the one that comes to mind for me, Coach, with the Heat when they won the championship. I mean, they won it at the line. I mean, he kept making every free throw. He got fouled.
And Craig, it's a two-part thing because, number one, you get to get your rest, get to the free throw line, get points. But the second thing you do is you get teams into foul trouble. Like, that's what you do. You see it all the time. You literally saw Indiana when Brunson had 2 fouls in the second quarter saying, we're going at him. And when he got his third foul, then he kept him in the game. They said, guess what? We're going at him again because that's what you do, especially if the other player being guarded is one of the best players on that team.
Last time I'm going to show you this graphic because it's pointless. We keep doing this every week. Can anybody beat Oklahoma City, Coach? Yes or no? If not, this is the final time I'm going to show this on the show. They're minus 390.
If the way they're playing right now, no. No, they can't. It'll be interesting what Indiana can bring in regard to their depth and the way they play, but they're just better every way, Oklahoma City. They'll roll either the Knicks and Pacers in 5 games, and I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah, minus 390. Too much. Coach, enjoy the game tonight. Thanks again.
Thanks, Craig.
We'll come back and wrap it up with some last licks next. Guess who's back in Indianapolis? It's Halliburton.
Oh.
Not that Halliburton, the other Halliburton.
Vegas knows how to celebrate. If you're headed to Vegas for your birthday, plan ahead to get all the birthday freebies the city has to offer. Just by showing your ID, you could get free cash play, scratch cards, drinks, and food at various venues on the Strip. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. Fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside.
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. We'll get to our programming schedule coming up in just a little bit. Remember, 2 big games tonight, one of the NBA, one of the NHL, and plenty of Major League Baseball to get to. But we got some news from the world of tennis and a little bit on baseball, too, as we wrap up the show and talk some NBA as well. Time now for some last licks. All right, cooler heads have prevailed in Indianapolis, and this is really good to see. You may remember, it feels like forever ago, it wasn't that long ago, probably a few weeks ago, that John Halliburton, this is Tyrese Halliburton's father, ended up getting in the face of Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. And it was determined at that time for doing that and, razzing him a little bit, which was unprovoked. I thought maybe it was provoked, but it turned out not. It just, this guy was out of his mind, went on the court. It turns out they had to suspend him and told him, hey, you can't show up for these games anymore. But, after some time away, they have reconsidered. And now John Halliburton, Tyrese's father, good news, he'll remain away from the team for road games. Got to watch those games on TV. But he will be back to watch Tyrese and the Pacers at what is now called Gainbridge Fieldhouse, starting with Tuesday night's contest. Now, to be clear, they are not stupid. They're not going to allow him to sit courtside and do what he did again, because then we would call the Pacers all-time idiotic team. Not going to do that. But he will be able to sit in a suite and watch the game from a distance, and that makes sense. He's back in the house. But no, you cannot even let this guy sit lower level. Probably, I'm sure he's learned his lesson, but needless to say, you can't do that again in that situation. Okay, farewell to the best player in tennis history ever on clay court. This is the truth. Nobody ever did it better than Rafael Nadal, who was honored at this week's French Open at Roland Garros. He won the French Open singles championship 14 times, and so many battles between him and Roger Federer and many others. But you know what was crazy is that Nadal is a Hall of Fame tennis player, one of the best of all time. Is he top 10, top 8? I'm not exactly top 2, probably not, but top 10, yes, without a doubt. But for whatever reason, this guy on the clay courts was incredible. And so it just didn't matter who was the number one tennis player in the world. When Nadal played, he always won, and he always won there. So all-time record, 14 wins at the French Open, and no longer going to play there anymore. Eventually, legs give out as a tennis player, and inevitably they did on Nadal, and he said farewell at Roland Garros over the weekend. All right, finally, really good gesture from Freddie Freeman of the Los Angeles Dodgers. You may remember his son, Max, had a very serious medical issue. Less than a year ago, he had a serious case of Guillain-Barré syndrome last year that left him in the pediatric intensive care unit for more than a week. And because of the service that his son received in the hospital, Freeman and his wife Chelsea are donating $1 million to the Children's Hospital of Orange County, where he stayed. Now, you talk about a donation. That is serious right there. And by the way, knowing these guys and this family, no reason to do this other than just taking care of the people that took care of him. Very nice gesture for Freddie Freeman and his wife, and glad to hear that Max, or I guess Maximus, his full name, has completely recovered. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the case, it just basically debilitates you for a period of time. You do eventually get better, but it's a very scary one. I've known people who have gotten it before. Take a look online if you're not familiar with it. All right, coming up next, Smiley Kaufman's going to join us, 12 o'clock Eastern. He's getting ready for the U.S. Open. That's coming up in a few weeks. Meanwhile, we've got Pharrell Coast to Coast, 3 o'clock Eastern. Of course, a lot of breakdown for tonight's game between the Knicks and the Pacers. That is followed by Front Office Sports, our brand new show, although it's been on now for like a month, so maybe not brand new anymore. 6 p.m. to 6:30. Make sure you catch that program. Followed by Game Time Decisions at 6:30. And then tonight from 8 to 10, it's in-game live game day, followed by Gabe on Sports Rage tonight with the latest in the National Hockey League, Edmonton and Dallas, of course, on deck. Also want to thank all of our guests here on the program today. They included Mark Zinno for coming on the show. In addition, thanks to Gilbert McGregor and Coach Young, as well as Adam Caplan, our SportsGrid NFL insider. And if you want to learn more about some of the different streaming options here on SportsGrid and some of the free TV options for you, download the SportsGrid app. It's available for iOS and Android. Take out your phone and scan that QR code. Again, I can't say it enough. It's absolutely free. There is nothing to pay for. The SportsGrid app is free. Our streaming options are free as well. It gives you all the latest odds, news, notes, and information, different columns about different games and how the point spreads went in different directions, and more about our shows and hosts as well. Thanks to Jake for filling in for Luke today. Thanks to our director, Frank. I'm Craig Mish. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back recapping the Knicks and Pacers tomorrow morning on our next edition of NewsWire. Have a great night, everyone. See you then.